Good morning everyone, or good afternoon whenever you're watching this. Today is the second day of the Science Communication Summer School. I got ready, I had my breakfast and I'm gonna leave the room soon. I will walk to the building. It's a bit far away, but just 15-20 minutes walk. So I thought it will be nice to walk and get some fresh air. I will try to vlog as much as I can, and we will have lectures and a workshop about social media. I'm very curious about that, so let's see how it will go. It's good that I left early because there were construction works everywhere. It's this building.
I give you some examples.
Two lectures. One was about science communication theory and the other one was about audience, and now we are gonna have lunch. Now we are in the afternoon session and we will work on our group project or science communication product. And yeah, now I will show you our poster thing. So this is us. We have some ideas about an exhibition. Our group work, we have all these papers, and now we will have science communication, no, social media workshops, right? Yeah. Do you like it so far?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's about the workshop.
Yeah. So we are done with the day too. It was a busy day, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you also enjoyed it.
Hello! Yes, it was very interesting and challenging, but fun.
Yes, especially the social media workshop. I think it was very challenging. I really liked the questions that were trying to address there. Now we are all walking to a restaurant that we will have dinner all together. And yeah, that's all for now. I will try to update more about the sessions when I go back to the hotel room, more in detail. Bad vlogger. I couldn't vlog that much. We had dinner in a nice restaurant. I'm walking back to my hotel. Hello, welcome back to my hotel room. So I will try to kind of summarize to day 2 of the Science Communication Summer School now. Today was a very long day for me. I'm quite tired, but we had 2 lectures and then a brainstorm session about our science communication product and then a workshop about social media. I really enjoyed today's lectures and also the afternoon. I will try to give a bit more information. So in the morning we first had a lecture about the theory of science communication. It was very interesting for me. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know. First we started with science communication history. How was it before? For example, until 1960s there was science optimism. Then after 60s people started to read about science, so scientific literacy was increasing. There were more protests, etc. And then after that, the public understanding of science changed. There were more campaigns, for example, in the Netherlands about girls should be in the STEM, etc. And now these days, the public is more skeptic about science. Then we learned about science communication approaches that I had no idea. So there were different approaches that we could take, like informative, persuasive, relational, interpretative, critical approaches. For example, in the informative one, you're just informing people. You don't want people to do something, so you're not expecting something from them. But for example, in persuasive, you're informing them, but at the same time, you want your audience to do something in return. And we learned that sometimes giving information to people may backfire. So sometimes you're giving a lot of info to people and you're just puzzling them, and then in the return, they just do the opposite than what you expect. And from some studies, we also learned that giving some numbers to people is actually not very useful all the time, because sometimes people don't have scientific literacy or numeracy, so they cannot interpret those numbers. So for example, 1 in 10,000, so, or even more bigger numbers, it's hard to process and understand, like, okay, you're talking about a bunch of numbers, but I don't feel like it's personal. So it was opinions from other people, so they don't feel like they just relate to that. So you just need to explain things in a different way. And we also talked about jargon, which is very important. There were some examples. I will try to put there's some clips throughout I'm speaking. And then it also made me think a lot of words that I'm using when I'm trying to communicate my science or trying to explain things to other people. For example, when you say cell, people might think that it's like prison, but you're talking about your cells in the body, but it might be different. So you really need to think about those things. And we also had other people had some examples. For example, reprogramming. I think in biology you can use reprogramming as like some changes happening in the cells, but it might also sound like you're just programming your cells and your body, and scientists are doing something really bad, just putting on chips or something. And then I also thought about the way that we use screens, because we do genetic screens, drug screens, but screen also means just like a monitor thing, so it can be difficult for other people when they have no idea about what we are talking about. I think a lot of people doesn't realize that science communication is a research field. You do actual research on it, how people understand science, in which ways we can improve that. So there is scientific research going on that, and they also mentioned different projects and studies that they are doing in the University of Leiden in their research group. It was very nice to learn about all these things. And they also mentioned a book which is called Do Scientists Understand the Public? That looked very interesting, so I will try to find the book and have a look at it. So if you are also interested, you might want to look. So after that we had a lecture about target audiences, which is also a very important topic. We learned about why we should care about our audience. So we need to know that we have different audiences. They have different ages, they have from different genders, different social group, different education levels and ethnicity, and it can be different backgrounds, so we need to try to include everyone and try to find the target audience so we can adjust our communication according to that. And we learned about some audience characteristics, and we learned about a study that was done by John Falk. So he did something called identity related motivations. So people that are visiting museums, they have different identities, so they're kind of grouping them. You don't necessarily have to stick to one group, so you can be a different one in your different visits, but some of them were like explorer, so that is a person with interest, so they're just curious to visit the museum. The facilitator, so that person comes for another person, for example a parent taking their children to the museum, so they are facilitators. So you can have different kinds of people visiting a museum. So we also talked about who is not participating in the activities you are doing. For example, museum, okay, some people are coming, but you're also interested in the people that are not coming to your museum. And we watched a TED talk about that, and I will try to put the link down, and I think it was very nice TED talk, and I really liked it. We learned about equality, equity and inclusion. Even if we think that we know quite about inclusion and diversity, there's still a lot to learn. We really need to try to do our best to include everyone and make it accessible for all kinds of backgrounds. And we also had a reading before the class, and it was from Emily Dawson. It was about equity and inclusion in everyday science learning. I will also try to link things below. So that was also a very nice book. I would also recommend that. Both lectures I really enjoyed. Then we had lunch, and in the afternoon we continued working on our science communication product, and we improved our product. We kind of decided on things. I'm really curious what will come out of that. Tomorrow we will work more on our project, and I'm excited how it will turn out. We had a workshop on social media. I had social media workshops before, but I really liked this one. It was a bit hard to do actually. We learned some things about how we should use social media. Of course, audience is again very important. I had some notes. So there was a speaker from Noskura. I think they are specialized in social media for universities and PhD students and scientific people and places, as far as I understood. So we try to prepare pitches about ourselves, like who we are, what are our beliefs, and what we are good at, where do we stand out, what are our teams, etc. We also learned about content creation. There was a triangle of content creation: listening, interacting, and the content. So we learned more things about that, and it was different than the other social media workshops that I had. There were specific questions about content creation, so we tried to create contents in pairs with sticking to those specific questions. What is our message? Who is our target audience? And what we expect them to know? What are our values? So it was very interesting to create content. It was a bit hard, but we managed in the end. I think everyone really enjoyed the session as well. Then we went for a dinner. We had a nice dinner with everyone, and now I'm back in the hotel room. So tomorrow I will again try to vlog and document my time in the summer school. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!